has a background in coaching, played, I want to say, field hockey at St. Joe's, Mafacton High School, right? And is a trainer and one of the real experts in this field, and we're happy to have her back to do this again, and I'll turn it over to Kelly.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Guys, I appreciate this. Last year I was here, same group, not the same group with you, but I was told that I was going to be one of the last presentations of the 3-day weekend, but by the time I walked into this room, your faces were all like, everybody that was here was dead. So, you guys seem a lot more lively, a lot more energetic, which I'm excited about. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about some things that you probably haven't heard before, and maybe you have. When I first was introduced to Positive Coaching Lines, I sat there like, this is the last place I want to be. I was a high school lacrosse coach in a time, actually it was 1994, way back in the olden days, when I just graduated from college. I played 2 sports at St. Joe's, Division I, field hockey and lacrosse. Freshman year I decided, instead of playing lacrosse, I was going to try to run track, because I never ran track before, and I thought that would be fun to just start running D1 track. Found out it was not as much fun as I thought. So, stuck with field hockey and lacrosse, and I was a bit of a competitor. When I started teaching 3rd grade. And what I found was the kids I was teaching were very wimpy. They were afraid to win. They were afraid to lose. Anytime they lost anything, they threw a hissy fit. They would go to gym class, and the gym teacher told me they weren't even allowed to play dodgeball. Any of you guys know how to play dodgeball? Yeah. And I'm like, well, wait. The gym teacher called it snowball fights, where they had these big pom-poms, and they'd throw them back and forth to each other. They'd freeze like snowman. And I was like, wait, where's that big loser's jail? Like when I played, you got nailed in the head with a kickball, and there was a loser's jail that you went to, and you sat there until your friend threw you the ball and you were free. So then, a couple years later, I had my first child, and I was so psyched because I could be like the mom coach. And she wanted to play soccer. She was 6 years old. So I couldn't play soccer before. I can't handle it. And I went to the first coaches meeting, and they said, guess what? You're coaching U6. We don't keep score. And I was like, what's the purpose? And they said, oh, it's just to give the kids exposure to the sport and have fun. I'm coming out here twice a week, and on Saturday games with 6-year-olds, and you're not keeping score? Where you know full well who is keeping score of those games where they're not keeping score.
Parents.
The parents and the kids, right. Every game, you're like, Mom, what was the score? What was the score? So I just figured, why not keep score? Because everybody's keeping it anyway. So, as I said, throughout my kids, as they were growing up, I was like, you know what, competition's being taken out of things. So, as a high school coach, when I started coaching high school, I sat at a Positive Coaching Alliance workshop, and it was for coaches, and I thought, I just sit here and listen to some guy for 2 hours tell me how positive I have to be, and how everybody's a winner, and everybody gets a trophy, because my daughter, after that 6-year-old season, got a trophy about this big. Took my high school team to state championship to get a trophy this big, and she gets the one this big for participating in youth soccer. So, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but that was really annoying to me. How many of you would consider yourself pretty competitive? Yeah, like how many of you, if there was no competition involved, it probably wouldn't motivate you that much. Yeah, that's kind of how it was. So the very first thing that someone said to me when they were presenting a Positive Coaching Lines workshop to me was, how do you like to win? And I was like, and they said, how many of you like to compete? And I was like, yeah, I like to compete. How many of you actually know the root of the word competition? Anybody else know the root? Where that is actually a Latin root word of competition. Does anybody know what that actually means? No one, really? Anyone guess? Don't Google it. I'll see it. What do you think? Take a guess. Take a shot at it. Competition. The root, Latin root of competition.
How to seek.
Say it again.
To seek.
To seek? Sort of along the same lines, but not quite. Competition. Throw it out there. Take a guess.
Does no maybe to seek together?
It's very close. Very close.
Together.
To strive with. To strive with. Now, I don't know how many competitions you guys have been in. I'm assuming a lot. I don't know how many of you really look at it as, I can't wait to go out there and just strive with that team I'm playing against. I know I didn't. I looked at it, when I was playing hockey or lacrosse or basketball, I played basketball in high school or even volleyball when I played afterwards, I would look at my opponent and I would, stare him down and do all that kind of stuff. Because I was like, I'm not striving with you, I'm against you. So what I found was, and I'm going to teach you guys today, some of the secrets that have come out of 20 years of research. Our organization started at Stanford University. Why Stanford? Well, the man Jim Thompson that founded our organization was teaching. He was a graduate professor at Stanford. Stanford is also one of the #1 academic and athletic schools. There's a ton of fantastic academic schools out there, this being one of them. However, the athletics don't always go with it. Stanford has them both. So he took a look at all the people around him and said, I have a huge think tank of resources here to use to help teach kids how to get better in sports, how to motivate them, using a lot of sports psychology that nobody's sharing. And he had a son at the time that was playing baseball, and he said, man, the guys that are coaching my son, they're going about it the wrong way. My son doesn't want to play baseball because he's being screamed at. There's a problem here. So he decided to get the think tank together and create an organization to share the message. So today I'm not talking about the X's and O's. I know you guys play all different sports, all different levels, and I think that's totally cool. I'm here to talk to you about and share with you some of the best practices of the best athletes around the world and the best coaches around the world, especially the most successful ones on the scoreboard. And I'm going to tell you some reasons that they're successful, and it's probably not going to be exactly what you think. That sound cool? All right, so first thing you have to do is answer 2 questions for me. Inside of your book, there's a blank page. Okay, what I'm going to ask you to do is answer 2 questions. Here's the first one. Who is the current or former teammate you most admire, and why? So just put the first name or the initials of a current teammate you have, or a former teammate that you really admire. And then just write maybe one little sentence about why you admire that person. Yeah, I think you can make it on one board too. I'm not going to mess with this is Wharton, I don't want to mess with their technology. Okay, I'm going to move on to the second one. I want you to name 3 character qualities that you think you're going to need in your future career. Whatever you want to be someday. What do you want to be when you grow up? My daughter, who is 6, wants to be an astronaut or a waitress. Those are her career goals right now. That's really wonderful as a parent to do that. 3 character qualities. Those answers. I'm going to give you the quick history. I was not sure about the technology, so I'll just click through the history of PCA. But let me show you for those visual learners that we have here. The man at the top is Jim Thompson. This, again, was kind of the quick nuts and bolts story. He had a son who wanted to play baseball. He was all excited about his son playing baseball. And these were the type of coaches his son was up against. This is the first time Jim Thompson, who was a graduate professor at Stanford, realized the culture in youth sports is changing. Things are different than they were when he was a kid. Coaches are doing a lot more screaming and yelling, and kids are really getting discouraged. There's, anytime you open the newspaper, anytime you and you see the news, it tells you about all these crazy stories because that's what makes the news. Referees that are getting punched out, parents that are jumping over the I mean, I'm not going to tell you, but you've seen them. They're actually on our website too, which is pretty cool. Check out the top 10 and top worst stories in sports. But so his son was depressed. He didn't want to play baseball anymore. So Jim started looking into it, and he started doing some research, and what he found was most kids this day and age are playing sports at what age? There are more kids across the country playing sports at this age than any age at all. Call it out, take a guess. Answer is, survey says, 10. Okay, more 10-year-olds, which are about 5th grade. Now, of those 10-year-olds, there's a certain percentage of them that are dropping out of sports by the age of 13. So before they even get to high school, what percentage of them are dropping out of sports? How many of you would say that 20% of them? I'm going to say 20%, let's just make it even. 25%, 50%, or 75%? How many of you would say 20% of them are dropping out? How many would say 50% of them are dropping out? How many of you would say closer to 75% of them are dropping out? Okay, the actual answer is 70%. So if you were somewhere between 50 and 75, you're right. Why? You can tell me why. Take a guess. Why are so many kids dropping out? Okay, so parental pressure 2008. Yep.
As you progress through the sport, the intensity of it increases significantly, especially the coaching, so some players can tolerate it.
Okay, so a little more pressure. Okay, Matt?
They don't think they're good enough because of other players and coaches.
Okay, possibly. Yep.
Middle school coaches don't know what the heck they're doing.
Okay. Good point. Thank you. As a middle school coach, I appreciate that. That's it. Say it again.
It's not fun anymore.
Number one, 5,000 athletes, all different ages, interviewed. The only reason they're, not the number one reason they're quitting, boys and girls across the board, is it's not fun anymore. It's not fun. To become an elite athlete, how many hours of play do you have to have? 10,000. Thank you. I didn't know that. Nobody knows that. 10 years, 10,000 hours. If you're quitting at age 13 because you're not having any fun, you're not going to get there, are you?
Nope.
You quit because you're 13. What are mom and dad going to do? Flip out. No, flip out. But they're not having fun. So these coaches that are screaming at the kids thinking that's going to motivate them, it's actually deterring them. This is not rocket science to you guys because you've just been there probably. How many of you have had coaches that have acted like that towards you? Or you've seen a coach act like that? There was just a study out of Arizona State, 75% of athletes have said they had been yelled at or berated by a coach. And this is only interviewing athletes up until high school. So it's happening, it's out there. So Jim said, I'm at Stanford. I'm going to get together with some people. He chose the national spokesperson for the PCA. Who is that? Phil Jackson. Why do you pick Phil Jackson? He's the best. He's the winningest coach in the NBA. So let's find out what he's doing right. He's also chose some other people. Who else did he pick? Jim Adrian, Steve Young. He chose a national advisory board of at least 30 people that you can find on our website. You're going to see a lot of video clips from some of these people today that have contributed to our organization. And he found out from them what kept you in sports, what motivated you, why are you here, why are you doing so well, why are you so successful. And then he got this guy. You know who this is? Not Woody Allen. This is Albert Bandura. He's an educational psychologist. He really tapped into all different venues. He tapped into sports. He also tapped into educational psychology. So these are the things, again, our program is a research-based program, but it's to enhance your performance, which I love. Because anything that made me better as an athlete, I was all over it, and I assume you guys are too, or you wouldn't be here. All right, so here's our mission. Entertainment or education? Sports, right now. Sports at the professional level is what? Education or entertainment? Professional. Entertainment, correct. College level. How many of you would say college level is entertainment? How many of you would say college level is sports for education? All right, half and half. The youth level, let's say high school and below. How many of you say sports is for entertainment? How many of you say sports is for education? Right. How many of you would say society agrees with that? Right, there's a problem. There's a dichotomy here because sports at your age, high school is supposed to be for education. You're developing. You're learning skills. You're not supposed to be pro yet. Yet society has taught people that sports at any age is for entertainment. And I, as a parent or a fan, have the absolute right to scream if my kid's not performing out there. I have my right to yell at the officials if they're not getting a good call. So this is kind of the issue here, and this is what we're trying to change a culture in youth sports. In order to do that, PCA's mission statement is to develop better athletes, and in the long run, better people. Because that's what's going to make you successful in life. Sports is a great venue in order for you to learn these lessons. So that's our mission. Better athletes, better people. All right, let's keep going. This is just tells you how far we are. How many of you have never heard of Positive Coaching Alliance before today? All right, cool. This is where we're at. We've impacted over 4 million athletes since 1998. Our goal by the year 2015 is to impact 20 million. Okay? It's a movement. It's a culture movement, and it's spreading like wildfire. So that just gives you a quick idea. 11 chapter offices, tons and tons of partners. This is one of our main phrases, honor the game. Okay, we're going to talk about this a little bit later today, but this is a phrase, instead of be a good sport or character building experience, we use